Hello there, upstate South Carolina. How do you do? Welcome in. The Rob Brown Show midweek edition starts right now. What's happening, y'all? Great to be with you. It is Wednesday. It is July 13th. We are glad to have you along for the ride. I am Rob Brown. Pleasure is mine directly across the metaphorical glass from me today. He is the professor of perfection. He is the sultan of swag, the wizard of wave, hashtag dad kicks, Colonel Grudge, the alpha and the omega of the fan upstate. He is the great one, Lonzo, behind the mic. What up, Zoe?
Just over here planning nefariously. That's what I do, yeah.
Yeah. Lonzo, we've been robbed. We've been taken. We've been had. We had an opportunity for greatness taken away from us by corporate overlords, and I won't stand for it anymore.
I cannot wait to rise up with you for whatever we're going against.
Apparently, according to Twitter and a tweet that Lonzo sent to me earlier this morning, Baker Mayfield is being reported by Barstool Sports. Take that for what it's worth.
I was going to say, which means it's probably true, of course.
A gentleman by the name of Ohio's Tate. Ohio's Tate.
Is there is there a hyphen between the O and the? Okay, so that could actually be his name.
Yes.
Not like Clemson Tom or Clemson Joe or Clemson Buford or Clemson Billy Joe Jim Bob or Clemson, Cal. I mean,
Ohio's Tate. Anyway, Jake Trotter, Tom Withers, and others, actual reporters with real names.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm looking at Jake Trotter's tweet now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Jake Trotter is reporting that Baker Mayfield pitched to Progressive Insurance and At Home with Baker Mayfield, Moving Out with Baker edition of his commercial series, and that it wasn't the Browns who shot him down. It was actually Progressive that shot him down. Progressive took the pitch from Baker, who, by the way, knows his brand, because what did we all say when the Baker trade went through? Can't wait for moving in with Baker in Charlotte. Baker knows his brand. Baker's got it down. They had the opportunity, after being accused of oversaturating the market with Baker Mayfield commercials, they had the opportunity to give us the Baker Mayfield commercial we all actually wanted, and it was proposed by Baker himself, and they said no. They said no. I'm not trying to say that if you're a Progressive Insurance customer, you should automatically drop your coverage and move on to another company. But I do want you to remember, next time you go to send in your premium check, that we could have had a Moving Out with Baker Mayfield commercial, and Progressive said no.
It would have been glorious. He could have had his book club over, helping him pack.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been somebody. And the one lady who's never shows up for the book club could actually show up to help them pack.
Jennifer.
Yeah, it would have been really, really cool.
I think the way to write that commercial is you have the GM of the team just pushing Baker's stuff into a U-Haul, right? Not even packing it. The Browns GM just grabbing Baker's stuff. Andrew Berry just grabbing Baker's stuff, chunking it into the back of a U-Haul, and being like, no, go on, Bake. Enjoy Carolina, boss. Could have had a moving out with Baker Mayfield commercial, and Progressive said no because Progressive, Lonzo, hates fun, apparently.
Is it completely dead? Maybe there could be an outcry from Progressive customers, which I am one. I want Baker moving out.
Call your agent right now and be like, if you guys don't give me a moving in with Baker in Charlotte, I'm dropping my policy.
See, I want cue up the Billy Joel. I want the moving out song music just playing behind as he's packing. I mean, this thing writes itself.
Trading in for, wait, I got it. Trading in the brown for some silver and black, yak, who did it? See, I was all over. I just needed a second.
It works. See, keep talking about parody songs. We could do that.
Yeah.
In just a few minutes, like after the show, we could do that.
In the Browns for some silver and black, yak. That's pretty on the nose for coming up on the spot. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. Put it on the books. I love that while that happened, by the way. And the reason I'm talking about Baker, for those of you that are going, why the hell are we opening with Baker Mayfield? It's because Baker actually did his first presser with the Carolina media yesterday. And I've got some sound on that for you that we're going to get into later on in the show. But this came up and it made me laugh. Like a lot. Odyssey, John Healy of Odyssey Sports, got some talk down with Jason Lloyd of The Athletic. And according to Jason Lloyd of The Athletic, Baker Mayfield was viewed as, quote, childish and immature, end quote, while his behavior, quote, annoyed teammates and divided the locker room. He was often difficult to coach, end quote. John Doss of News 5 Cleveland was talking on 92.3 The Fan out of Cleveland last week. I believe that's one of our Odyssey sister stations. And said that the relationship between Cleveland and Baker was, quote, unsalvageable, end quote. I'm going to go ahead and tell Panthers fans, Don't listen to this. All right? Don't listen to this. When stories like this come out, ignore them. Because all this is the Cleveland Browns trying to paint themselves into the best possible situation they can. Right? They know that as of now, they are the most unfavorably viewed team in the National Football League. They are unfavorably viewed because of Deshaun. They are unfavorably viewed because of Baker. They are unfavorably viewed because they went from the lovable losers to, no, we're not cool with any of this. We're not cool with any of this at all. And so the Browns, in order to try to save face, are going to do everything they can to poison the well against Bake. They are going to say he's immature. They're going to say he was hard to coach. They're going to say he was this. They're going to say he was that. You know what's interesting about all of that is that Baker's been in Cleveland how many years? And we didn't hear about any of this until he wasn't a Brown anymore. Baker has been in C-Town for a minute, y'all. He has been in Cleveland for a minute. Before this offseason, scratch that, not even this offseason. Before the Browns started to court Deshaun Watson, before the Browns brought in Deshaun Watson in 2018, since that point in time, Lonzo, Can you remember a spot anywhere where Baker Mayfield was called, and I'm talking about in the NFL, I'm not talking about in college, because he got called a lot of things in college, but can you remember a point in time in the NFL where Baker had this many negative things said about him as consistently has happened since he has left the Browns?
I think the negativity that I recall is just the OBJ situation.
Yep.
And other than that, nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there have been some individuals. I'm sure there have been some individuals that have been beating up on Bake, that have called Bake immature, hard to coach, etc. There have been some individuals.
Yeah, but those guys weren't vocal when they were winning.
Right. Right. You didn't hear that when Bake was taking the Browns to the playoffs, my man. You didn't hear it. You didn't hear it when Baker Mayfield was a Rookie of the Year candidate in 2018. You didn't hear it when the NFL named him, by the way, I mean, when I say NFL, I mean players, named him one of the best 50 players in the league multiple times over. You didn't hear it when he was coming out in his second season and throwing for 285 in games consistently. You didn't hear it when he finished that season with over 3,800 yards and 22 touches. You didn't hear it in 2020 when he finished with over 4,000 passing yards, 30 TDs, and 9 picks through 18 games, including the playoffs, where they only lost to the Chiefs, who, by the way, chirring that year by a final score of 22-17. Wasn't like they got smoked, right? None of those things were being said there, but as soon as Baker gets ditched by the Browns for Deshaun, as soon as the rest of the NFL and NFL fans everywhere start going, ew, that's gross. That's not cool, C-Town, right? As soon as that happens, now all of a sudden the reports are coming out that Baker's a bad dude. Now all of a sudden the reports are coming out that Baker's this and forget all that, man. If you're the Panthers fans, tune that out. Don't listen to that. The Browns recognize that they have, once again, made themselves look like buttholes and now have to answer it by trying to paint everybody else the way that we are painting them.
All right, so last Thursday, I'm in the theater watching Thor, and I get pinged on my phone, and I looked at it after, and I got DM'd by my best friend in the whole world, Henry, who's been a lifelong Cleveland fan, and tweeted me to say, you're getting a great quarterback, talking about the Panthers. The fans know what they're losing. I mean, you can look at the ability of Deshaun Watson. When he's on the field, he's really good. But when's he going to be on the field? You don't know. So Cleveland is willing to go with the uncertainty of someone you're not sure it's going to play for someone who brought you back into playoff contention. It just maturity doesn't matter. Winning games matters.
Fact.
And Cleveland doesn't want to win.
Fact. No, I think Cleveland does want to win. Here's what I think it is.
Nobody else would take on the baggage that is Deshaun Watson. And I know eventually if he plays again, it should pay dividends for them. But what happens to them if Deshaun gets on the field and they can't win?
We all laugh hysterically.
Yes, we do.
We all laugh hysterically. I think Cleveland wants to win. I think Cleveland wants to win to the point that
there is hardly anyone in the state of Ohio who would agree with you that Cleveland wants to win. They have a long history of not wanting to win, and they've made sure that they've done things to make sure that didn't happen, and they've had a guy was actually helping them to win, and what'd they do? They humiliated him, gave him the cold shoulder, sent him packing. Because you know why? Because Cleveland doesn't want to win. Cleveland doesn't like winning. Cleveland likes being losers.
Well, here's what I'll say. I sincerely think every NFL team wants to win. I think some are willing to go further than others to do it. I don't think Cleveland brings in Deshaun if they don't want to win. They are bringing in Deshaun with the hopes of everybody forgets about that pesky old 24 lawsuit thing. I guess 4 now. Everybody forgets about all those pesky accusations and claims. Everybody forgets about all the baggage that comes with Deshaun, and you end up with Deshaun getting back onto the field and being an all-pro quarterback, being a Hall of Fame caliber quarterback. That's what the Browns are banking on. And they were willing to gamble Baker Mayfield, the first quarterback the Cleveland Browns have had out of the last 364 that's actually worked out for them. They were willing to gamble that in order to take the risk that Deshaun turns out to be an absolute dude once they get past the baggage. That's the gamble here for the Seatown Browns. In doing so, they just ultimately gave away a guy who was doing what they hoped Deshaun's going to do. 4K yards, threatens 30 TDs, 24, 25 to 9 picks every year, right? But cool, I guess. Trey on the Facebook stream, which is up and running at facebook.com/thefanupstate, facebook.com/thefanupstate. If you're not on Facebook, go to YouTube. youtube.com/The Rob Brown Show, or just search The Rob Brown Show on YouTube. Search The Rob Brown Show on YouTube. When you do, you are going to you're going to find our station. You can like and subscribe and watch the show there live every single day. Let's take a break. When we come back here in just a minute, why did we bring up Baker? Because Baker introduced himself yesterday live from his kitchen to the Carolina Panthers media. I got my top 4 or 5 clips from Baker Mayfield. We'll play those for you when we come back. Rob Lonzo, this is the Fan Upstate. Tayshawn, what's up, brother? Welcome back. Good to have you, my guy.
By the way, Tayshawn, I finally beat Elden Ring. I know you beat it like 1,000 times, but I finally beat it.
I gave up a long time ago.
Good morning, Benjamin.
Ben, what's up, buddy?
It's a good point, Trey. That's exactly what they're acting like. I doubt there's a poster in their locker room, though. Or
yeah, that's exactly right.
Cat cutout, whatever those things are. Nah, I've started a different character with a different build. I'm waiting for Gotham Knights to come out, which I think is not until October, maybe. Good morning, Josh.
Skrilla, what's up, big dog? Yes, it is playoff day, baby. You love to see it. Who has the most famous point in history? Is it Bill Clinton's half finger point?
Mick Jagger.
Mick Jagger has the most famous point in history?
There was a skit on Saturday Night Live, pointing my fingers, and it was him and what's his name impersonating him, Jimmy Fallon. That's just the first thing that. You could also say Uncle Sam From the posters?
Yep, that's a qualifying candidate. You're exactly right.
Because you said in history, so.
Yes, I did.
History is full of famous figures. Trey says Hulk Hogan has a famous finger point.
It's on the list. 100% on the list.
I don't know. Was Clinton's a point or a finger wagging?
It was a point, right? Because it was a point, but he can't do this. That's accusatory. So he did the bent finger point, which was absolutely politically brilliant.
I'm still in One Piece, Tayshaun, but I'm in like the 700s or something like that. Or 600s. I don't know. They're on Dressrosa. Luffy is about to enter the arena. Ooh, that's not good, Steven.
Oh, no. Oh, that sucks.
Yes, it does.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, his name is Lucy, and he looks like Master Roshi. Did they do that on purpose? Did they put that beard on him to make him look like Master Roshi? I think it's hilarious. I love talking about things that Rob has no idea what we're talking about. What, did Bruce Lee point?
I don't know if I would call that a point, right?
Oh, that was just, that's when some come get some.
Outright disrespectful. But not, I don't know if I would. I mean, I guess kind of.
And if I recall, smiling while he did it, which made it even worse.
Well, it was post he wiped the blood.
Yeah. Used to have that poster.
That was from what? Kiss of the Dragon?
Was it? Or was it from the one where they're in the tournament? Why did I forget the name of that? Because my head still hurts. That's what I'm going with.
Going to sound here. So yesterday, the brand new quarterback of the Carolina Panthers, Baker Mayfield, sat down and introduced himself to the Charlotte media. Let me, before I get to the audio from Baker's introductory presser, let me start by this, because I have been flipping the channels the last couple of days. I have been watching, listening, paying attention to the conversation about the Panthers, to the conversation about Baker Mayfield since the trade went down. And let me be abundantly clear and pull no punches here. Baker Mayfield will be the starter in week 1. Let me repeat that. Baker Mayfield will be your starter for the Carolina Panthers in week 1.
But wait a minute. You know, all the big time talking heads are saying it's going to be a competition, Rob. How can Baker be, so he's going to win the competition?
Yes. Yes. Yes, of course.
Are we the only ones who don't believe it's a competition?
I don't know. But it generally feels like it, right? I'm flipping channels yesterday, and I came across, I don't know, whatever talking head show I came across. And they're talking about Baker, and they're playing some of the sound I'm about to play you. And the host of one of the shows says to the talking heads on one of the shows, and this is why debate style shows don't do it for me. I agree with a lot of higher ups that conflict makes for good radio. All right? However,
I disagree with you.
well, shut up. You're dumb and wrong.
Well, yeah. I'm not going to say that because she might be listening. Never mind.
Zoe's going to make a yo mama joke.
But I refrained because, I respect your mom. She's awesome.
It's true. She is. Debate can be fine if it's genuine. Contrived debate, forced debate, pretend debate, theatrical debate. Two people pretending to debate for the sake of debate, you lose me every time.
Is debate better when you don't like the other person?
Not necessarily.
Okay, I'm just curious.
Not necessarily. I have great conversation. P1 of the show, Mike Stathakis, and our entire relationship is built on fighting and arguing over everything, but...
And he's right most of the time.
You would. But Mike and I still get along. We can still knock back a beer together and have a great time, right? Debate for the sake of debate is bad. Contrived debate for the sake of contrived debate is bad. Debate's fine. Debate's good. Now.
So you're saying certain shows that are built just for debate, you're just not into those?
Yeah, when you get to the point that it's July 12th, there's nothing happening in sports outside of baseball, and so you got to do 30 minutes on who's better, Braun or Mike, I'm saying it's a bad premise. It's a bad show.
So anything Mad Dog is on, you just don't like it.
I'm out immediately. Anyway, here's why I brought this up. I'm flipping channels yesterday, and I come across one of the Talking Head shows, and the debate is, who would you rather have today, Sam Darnold or Baker Mayfield? Listen.
They have to follow their narrative. So I'm sure the majority of them picked the wrong person.
Listen, Linda. If you would rather have Sam Darnold than Baker Mayfield, right? Which, by the way, Carolina gets to pick. One of those guys has got to start week 1. If you would rather have Sam Darnold than Baker Mayfield, you are wrong. You're wrong, right? You're wrong. You can have the conversation, would you rather have chocolate ice cream or vanilla ice cream? And there's a debate there. My answer is chocolate. However,
I don't think there's a debate chocolate all day. But,
unless I say, but it comes with a slice of hot apple pie, in which case vanilla instantly becomes the choice.
I'm still going with chocolate.
I can change the circumstance. No,
you are absolutely wrong. No, not chocolate with. So you have to have it on
vanilla with apple pie is the life.
Putting ice cream on apple pie ruins the apple pie.
Incorrect.
Ruins the apple pie is better on its own when it comes out of the oven, hot flaky crust,
with
apples.
Big old scoop of vanilla ice cream melting on top.
No. What you're saying is that apple pie and the person who cooked it is not really good. So I'm gonna kill the flavor of their pie, their horrible pie, with some vanilla ice cream. That's what you're saying. Now that is good debate.
That's good debate. That's exactly right. The point is, it's a debate. But if somebody came up to me and said, "Hey, Rob, would you rather have vanilla ice cream or arsenic?" That's not a debate, dude. One of those is clearly better. In every conceivable angle, one of those is clearly better. Don't ask me if I'd rather have vanilla ice cream or arsenic. That's not a debate, my guy.
I'm curious why you're talking to that person in the first place.
I needed a metaphor, and I couldn't come up with another one fast enough, right? And most people usually go vanilla ice cream or like dog waste. It's like, that's used, that's played. I need something better.
Dog waste, well done.
Look, Baker Mayfield is the correct choice over Sam Darnold. Baker Mayfield is the correct starter for week 1. Baker Mayfield is the guy. Now, Let's get some sound in here. And what the hell? Let's start with 2E, if you don't mind here, please, Zoe. Clip 2E, Baker Mayfield was asked, do you expect to come in and be the starter? And Baker Mayfield answered, I think, with professionalism and humility, and I'm not kidding.
Well, I think when you're at any level as high as this in the NFL, nobody has the mentality of being a backup. We're at this level because we compete to be the very best, and that's why Sam's here as well, and that's why Matt Corral just got drafted, and PJ Walker's competed and fought through a lot of adversity as well. And so, my intention is to become the best quarterback I can be, help this team win, and that's why I'm happy to be in Carolina. Is this, I feel like the team's very close to being really, really good. We just have to put the pieces together and come together as a team. And however that happens, I'm going to do my job. I'm going to, fill whatever role is to be expected of me and be a great leader and a great teammate.
So disappointing. So the media has lied. The Browns have lied because that doesn't sound like an immature guy who needs to grow up. That's a very mature answer. Someone must have written it for him. An adult must have written it for him, because the narrative that we've gotten is this guy couldn't say something like this, not on his own.
I laugh because correct. That's 100% correct. That is a Baker. That is professional. That's an adult answer. Child answer is, yeah, of course I'm starting. I'm Baker Mayfield. Of course I'm. And by the way, he'd still be correct. But that's an adult answer. It's a humble answer. It's an answer filled with humility, but it's an answer filled with aspiration, right? With goal. Yeah, I'm coming here to be the starter. I expect to be the starter. We don't play this game to be anything but the starter, but I also realize there's Sam Darnold right there. He came here to be the starter too. There's PJ Walker, who has busted his ass to fight through adversity to be the starter too. I'm not going to just come in and go, move boys, I got this. It's going to be a fight. I respect that answer out of Baker Mayfield. Let me get clip 2D. Let's work these backwards. Clip 2D. Bake was asked, how are you handle getting traded? How are you handling it? How is the business side of it? How do you get all that out of the way so you can make sure you're ready to roll when it comes time to get into the huddle? Here's what Bake had to say.
Yeah, for me, that process was definitely interesting. I don't think there was any manual for it. You've seen guys give up money and part ways, but it's not very often that it's a guaranteed contract that it happens with. And, for me, it was about the next steps forward. And finding a new place, somewhere that wanted me, somewhere that, that I would be able to go in and compete and have a fresh start somewhere. So that's where that all came from. Not a very easy past couple of months in terms of negotiating and trying to come down to that number. It wasn't the original number, but I let the people that handle that stuff for a living take care of that. And I was just working on, becoming more healthy, just working out and grinding and doing all those things that I can control and letting the people that that's their forte to do so with that.
There you go. What else do you want from the kid, right? Hey, man, not often you got to leave some guaranteed money on the table. I needed to leave some guaranteed money on the table. And did you hear the part in the middle? To find somewhere that wanted me. To find somewhere that wanted me. Cleveland didn't. So I let the eggheads with their pocket protectors figure out the dollars and cents of it. I tried to become the best quarterback I could be during this offseason. Now I'm here in a place that wants me, and I'm ready to roll. Which brings me to clip 2C. And this is the one I was really excited to hear about when he got asked. Week 1, the Carolina Panthers, Baker's new team, opens up at home in the bank, and who do they have? The Cleveland Browns, Baker's old team. Are you looking forward to it, Baker Mayfield, former Cleveland Brown?
Anytime you get to put the pads on, for the first time, It's live fire. It's always a great time. Obviously, it's going to be a special one. It's going to be a home game and playing against a former team. A similar situation of what I've gone through in the past when transferring from college to college. So got to handle it the best way possible. And, my job is to put our team in the best position to win. And however I can help do that, that's what I'm going to do.
Good enough for me. Good enough for me. I think Baker pointed out at one point that he is not holding a grudge. I think Baker tried to point out, and I think he kind of heard it in the, hey, I'm just going to go find somebody who wants me. I don't know if you've ever been in a spot where you've gotten out of a relationship with somebody that you recognize didn't appreciate you. If you've ever gotten out of a relationship with somebody who maybe took you for granted. I have. And there is something liberating about getting out of a relationship when the person you're in a relationship with doesn't appreciate you, takes you for granted, et cetera, et cetera. And when you get out of that relationship and you move on, and down the line, you find somebody who does appreciate you, who doesn't take you for granted. It can be freeing, it can be liberating. And when that happens, right? It goes from, because what we say the other day, if somebody cheats on you, what's the best revenge? A life well lived, right? Hit the gym, drop some LBs, read a book, get more interesting, go out, live your best life so that down the road they look and they go, oops, I screwed up. The other best way to do it is to live a life that you don't care about them anymore, that you don't hold a grudge. There's no grudge to be held. Oh, that person did this and they cheated and they dumped me. And then, you know what? I came better out the other side, right? I came better out the other side. Yeah, I uprooted my whole life and moved to this new city and things went terribly bad. But you know where I am now? I'm in a new place with new friends and a great job and a phenomenal woman in my life. I don't even think about that anymore, right? That is what Baker sounded like, isn't it? Baker could have gone, hell yeah, I cannot wait to drop the absolute bomb on Cleveland. Are you kidding me? My goal is to throw for 500, 7 TDs, maybe run for another $150 on top of it, right? My goal is to go bananas, BANANAS on the stat line against my old team. But what did Bake say? Baker said, look, anytime you get a chance to strap on the shoulder pads, you go hard. You go try to win. You do everything you can do to help the team. And that's what this is all about. All the folks who are hitting Baker with, he's immature, he's a child, he's not an adult in the room. I don't know, Zoe. I watched that entire presser yesterday. Seemed pretty adulty to me.
Which is the best kind of revenge you can do. It's the best way to troll someone, especially when they're saying in the public eye that you are this person, and you go out there and do the exact opposite with sincerity and with believability to the point where it makes more people go, okay, what was Cleveland talking about? Now he's got to stick to it. And can he play without emotion? No, he's going to be who he is when he's out on the field. Is he going to enjoy that first touchdown he throws or runs in? Absolutely he is, and he should. But if he keeps it like what he's doing now, every clear word, every mature sentence that he utters makes Cleveland look like liars.
Yeah. I listen. You can
but if he breaks, Cleveland will say, see, told you.
If Baker comes out and has a day against Cleveland, and you don't think that at the end of that day, Baker won't stand at the 50 on the sideline and just stare across at Stefanski and co. Of course he will. He will stare. He will plant the flag. He'll do whatever he can do because that is Bake. He's an emotional guy. It's part of the reason I like him so damn much because I get it. I am too.
Is that the best move, though? Is that what you would do? I'm not sure I would. I think I would go over and start shaking everyone's hands and smiling.
Lovely to see you again, Coach.
I just can't. I really miss you. I'm sorry I'm not here.
I wish you the best of luck in the upcoming season.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah, you future endeavors them. Good luck on all your future endeavors, former team. I'll be right over there with the guys who just won this game if you need me.
Go over and tell Jacoby Brissett what a great game he just had.
Yeah. You handled that better than I could have, Jacoby. No, listen. I think ultimately if you're Baker, you can handle it however you want to handle it. Yeah? You can handle it however you want to handle it. Just win the damn game, right? If you want to grab a Panther flag and plant it on the 50 right in their face, go for it. If you want to stand on the sideline and eat that $50K fine for grabbing your junk and waggling it towards the Cleveland sideline, have at. It'll be on a t-shirt the next morning, and I'll buy it. But if you want to go over and shake hands, if you want to go to the press conference and just go, that was an excellent game from a very good Cleveland team, and, I'm sure they're going to have a great season ahead of them, that's cool too. I'm good with whatever.
Yeah, I still have a lot
but win the game.
Yeah, I still have a lot of friends on the team. I hope they do well. Today wasn't their day. Today, we played our best and showed what we can do here. But I hope all my friends do well the rest of the year over there on the Browns.
But at the end of the day, none of it matters except what? Scoreboard. Light them up on the scoreboard, and you can do whatever you want. Nobody will care. Nobody will care. But light them up, Bake. I got to tell you, and I'll play some more sound for you later on in the week. But Baker sounded and looked like a damn professional yesterday. And I love to see it. Let's take a break. Speaking of QBs, I got some sound from TL16 as well. Trevor Lawrence was on Colin Cowherd's show yesterday. I got some sound from TL16 on bouncing back from a season that was bad last year. Trevor Lawrence on new coaching leadership, on how long it really took him to learn the NFL game, and more. We'll talk more about that later on in the show. My name is Rob Brown. The great one, Lonzo, at the helm. You're listening to The Rob Brown Show. You're listening to The Fan Upstate. Oh. 100% that game gets sold out, Tayshawn. No doubt. Depending on what your boy's work schedule looks like at that point, I might be there. That's one to go see, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind going myself.
Not at all. Not at all. Ryan, it is actually a replay from last week's interview. So if you heard last week's, it's the same interview. I just wanted to give them a little extra love to sell some more tickets. But if you heard last week's interview, it's just a replay of that one. I don't replay interviews very often, but I thought Julie did a great job. And considering, obviously, it's playoff day, it seemed appropriate. Give the girls a little extra love this week for the hard work. Yeah, Julie's great, man. Julie does a great job. Sure, her interviews are fantastic. I was talking with Doug about this at the Liberty event Monday, and he was he loves how she does their interviews because she talks soccer, but she doesn't complicate it to the point that you lose, people who are maybe just getting into the sport and don't know as much as everybody else, but are still interested. And I think there's something to be said for that.
Okay, that's just a weird conversation. Why are you standing so far away to talk to my dude? Maybe it's because he has to keep pulling his pants up. Maybe they just talk really loud. She's just like getting further and further away, though. I put that in the wrong place. Can't take it out now.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, man. All right, I'll get that Trevor Lawrence sound for you coming up later on in the show because we only got a few more minutes here in this segment. We'll tell you, got a few more things coming up. Yesterday, we told you about Tommy Bowden saying that Clemson, if they are going to move to a super conference, that the SEC would be the way to go. Well, Steve Spurrier has chimed in now. Because, I know Clemson fans were very curious as to what Steve Spurrier had to say about the future of the Tigers. Well, there are some thoughts, and I'm going to tell you what they are coming up in a minute. Lonzo, can you see this? Watch this video. Yoink. Somebody.
I don't know. I don't know. Yoink. Is there the fact? Why were there cameras there? I'm just
it's a
asking.
baseball game.
Yeah, but there were cameras down in the creek also. It's a work.
Oh
man.
yeah, good call.
It's
Good
a
call.
work.
Good call. Good
It's
call.
a work.
It's got to be, right? I'm usually Team Lonzo is too cynical here, but that's a tough one.
They just happened to set up a camera down in the creek. Okay.
I mean, just in case. Anyway, all right. So we got Steve. Sorry, those of you who don't know what we're talking about. There's a clip playing on TV right now of a baseball game where a player goes to try to snag a ball that's rolling. I mean, it's gone foul, and dives after the ball. And once they go past there's like a hill that slides down into a creek, and she just YOLOs it straight down into the water. And I was trying to figure out how the hell did that happen, but I think Lonzo's convinced me. All right. We have got, we talked a little bit about it yesterday, and the Department of Justice asking questions of the PGA Tour is kind of interesting. But I thought about it yesterday, and I wonder if this is something that the DOJ ends up creating an environment, an atmosphere where Live Golf can genuinely take advantage of this and push the PGA out of the way, because the PGA has to live up to certain expectations of U.S. law that the Live Tour does not. What's the next step in international sports, right? Could we end up seeing a spot where there is another international organization that goes, okay, all right, well, what if we do a Live Tour model, right? What if we start hooking players out of other sports like Major League Baseball because we don't have the same rules? Is that something to be concerned about? Tell you about that coming up later on. Coming up in about half an hour, just a touch after 10:30, so a little over half an hour, Julie Carlson. We talked to her last week. We will talk to her again. We'll actually replay you that interview. As the Liberty have a playoff game tonight, I'll tell you about that and more coming up in the next hour of the show. Rob Lonzo, this is the Fan Upstate. Man. We had to borrow a friend's AC unit because our...
Yeah, I was going to mention that when we've had those problems before, we went out and bought a window unit and just found one room and just stayed in that room.
We put it in the bedroom last night. We'll move it into the study tonight until we're ready to go to bed. Then we'll move it back to the bedroom. Now, the AC guy is going to be... I'm leaving here after the show because I've got to meet the AC guy at the house at 12:30. And fingers crossed, we're going to be able to talk him into replacing it instead of just recharging it like they want to do every year. And this is she said like the fourth year in a row this has happened. Why do I hate the word portfolio so much? It's a weird word to hate, but I do.
Is it because you don't have one? I mean, I don't, so it's not, I mean,
That's a good burn, though. That's a really good burn. Really good burn.
This lady's voice is annoying.
I saw a TV commercial the other day with the audio from this commercial on it. You know, and after you've heard this commercial 100 times, like you can hear the audio. But the lady who was talking in the commercial,
she doesn't open her mouth. She's like speaks.
Oh yeah. The lady who was on TV in the commercial was this like tiny little bitty skinny or mid-20s maybe beautiful girl, but you're like, that's not your voice. That's not your voice. You stop it. That's not your voice.
Did you see Josh's message on the stream?
What's going on with the cooling? You know that's my day job. I did not, Josh. I will let you know. We got allegedly going to be covered by the home warranty that Courtney has, but if it's not, I might be calling you in a panic today because yesterday night when I got home, it was 91 degrees in my house.
Again, I've been there before. The bad part is you start to worry about your electronics and
Yep.
other things like that.
Oh, we just
As
turned
well as
everything
yourself.
off. Yep. I don't care about me. Don't let my TV break. Hi, Miss Lisa. Welcome in, as always.
When will autocorrect ever acknowledge my name as not misspelled?
Do you want autocorrect to acknowledge you?
Yes.
Acknowledge me.
Screw you, autocorrect. I am too real. Think. QC connects in the first break.
Our numero dos to the Rob Brown Show goes now. This is the fan upstate. Hello, upstate South Carolina. Hello, America. Hello, world. It is great to be with you again. My name is Rob Brown, the great one. Lonzo is at the helm. Be a part of the program. The phone lines are open for you at 844-FAN-PHONE, 844-FANFONE, 844 326 3663. 844-326-3663. You can also hit us up on the Preferred Home Services text line. That number is 71307, 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, and we will read them on the air. Texter says, hey, Rob, I think either you or Mark Ryan should come up to Spartanburg and interview Baker when the Panthers come to camp. That would make for some killer radio. Well, by golly gee willikers. Do we have some crazy news for you, my friends? Dig it, sucker. Next Wednesday and Thursday, stick with me here, guy who sent that text. Next Wednesday and Thursday, your boy will be broadcasting at you live from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Wow, this is the first time I'm hearing of this.
Yeah, well, I got approved yesterday, so.
Okay, all right.
Next Wednesday and Thursday, I will be live in Charlotte, North Carolina for ACC Media Days. We'll go 9 to noon on Wednesday. We'll go 9 to noon on Thursday. Mark Ryan will go live 3 to 7 on Wednesday. So we will go live Wednesday and Thursday. Why? Because we just make your life better.
Wait, so there's no crossover this time?
No, we're rolling solo.
Okay.
I got told I didn't deserve to be on his show.
It's probably true. I mean, me either.
No, I'm kidding. But we'll both be live. I will be live Wednesday and Thursday. Mark will be live on Wednesday. We will be there 9 to noon on that day. We'll have some live interviews for you. We'll be working on recording some stuff. It's going to be a great day.
Hey, what swag did you get last year?
What swag did we get last year?
I was there the year before and got like a water bottle and a hat, an ACC hat, which of course I wear all the time. It is gray though, so it matches some of my clothes. But anyway, what swag did you get?
Last year? We got a very, very nice leather binder with the ACC logo, not printed, pressed into it.
Ah,
on the
okay.
front. That was nice. We got in, and it was actually been surprisingly useful, like a little ACC branded thumb drive, right? Which came in really handy because at the event we recorded a couple of interviews to play back, and my computer was like, yeah, I can't save these, and I ended up saving them on the thumb drive, including that James Skalski interview where we got the infamous hot dog question fired off.
Yes, we did. It was awesome.
So they hooked us up with that. What they gave us, and I think they gave us some. Some like earbuds.
See, I know I'm kind of going inside here, but I don't think a lot of people know that members of the media get that kind of stuff, which is really cool. It is, because we like free stuff too, just like you do.
Yeah, the best part of it, the hookup is not a leather binder or a thumb drive or a hat or earbuds or anything like that. The hookup is, the breakfast, lunch, and dinners they serve are lit, bro.
I wonder if it's the same place where Mark and I were at a couple years ago. Probably is.
The hotel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the food was really good.
Food was lit, dude.
Even Mark found food to eat. So, I mean, that was really good. He's
a picky eater.
No, he has some allergies and stuff.
Yeah.
So he had to be, but his plate was full also when we went.
It's good. It's good. So we'll be live Wednesday and Thursday from ACC Media Days in Charlotte. Then on Saturday the 30th, we will be live from Panthers camp. As a matter of fact, we will be live Saturday the 30th. I think we're going 4 to 7?
4 to 6.
4 to 6. 2 hours live from Panthers camp, 4 to 6. I'll be there. Mark will be there. Zoe will be there. Diesel. I think even Diesel's coming out.
I will not be there.
Oh, you'll be here?
Like I have a show on Saturdays.
Right.
I can't, a sponsored show, by the way. I just want to point that out. So I can't
Which you
can't.
guys should definitely listen to this Saturday from 7 to 9. No real reason.
Yeah, you should. Absolutely. Especially if you like Nerf. So I can't go. I would love to go. They used to do these during the week. And when they did them during the week, I got to go every year, which was really cool. And I always got a text from my wife telling me to take a picture of Luke Kuechly. I don't know why. So,
yes, you do.
So I would send her several pictures of Luke Kuechly.
Yes, you do. He's a handsome fella.
He's a handsome young man.
There's
He
nothing wrong
absolutely
with that.
is.
He's a good-looking
If he
dude.
could have just controlled his speed and his reckless abandon, he probably would still be playing.
Yeah.
So
He's a good-looking dude. I'm mad at that. Hey, what is fist ball? Keegan
I
just told
don't.
us he's
I
about to watch
don't
fist ball.
know, and I really don't want to look it up.
It's a real thing. You know, it's not weird. It's a game.
The name is kind of weird, Rob.
Two teams consisting of 5 players each play against each other on a court, which is divided into 2 halves by a marked line and a net or rope at a height of 2 meters for men and 1.9 meters for women. Each team's aim is to strike the ball across the net or rope in a way that the opponent fails to return. A rally is continued until any team makes an error or a stoppage occurs. Each error made by a team counts as a point for the opponents. The winner is the team that has won 2, 3, or 4 or 5 sets of a set match or has scored the most points in a time match. So it looks like tennis, but instead of nets, you punch the ball.
It's more
And
like,
instead of one dude, it's dudes.
I think it's closer to volleyball. Was what I just read. That it's like tennis and volleyball mixed
It's
together.
tennis, soccer, and volleyball all together.
Okay, I got a question. What's a meter?
It's how literally the entire rest of the world
Yeah, but
measures distance.
we're in America, so how many meters is 5 meters?
1 meter is 3.2-ish feet. So 5 meters is...
For such a global thing, you don't seem to be certain of yourself about it.
No,
I'm
I
just,
know it's a tick over 3 feet. I'll say it's 3.2 feet. I'm gonna say it's 3.2 feet, 3.2 something. 3.2 feet. And also, we should absolutely go to the metric system.
No, we don't. We don't do that here.
All of America
We
should
don't
go
do
metric.
that here.
Every one of us
Move to Europe.
should go metric at
Loser.
this point. Should go to metric. So much easier. Base 10, so much easier.
Never gonna happen.
Next Wednesday and Thursday, live from ACC Media Days in Charlotte. And then on the 30th, we'll be live from Spartanburg from Panthers Camp and Fan Appreciation Day.
What hard-hitting question are you going to ask Dabo if you get the chance to interview him?
I never get Dabo.
Dabo walks in with an entourage. Yeah. He absolutely does. And, Dabo. And they're his guys. I mean, I'm just saying they're his. You can tell when he walks in. You know, when you got your boys with you can tell. And access to him is very difficult. But if you could ask him a question, a hard-hitting question, what would you ask him? Because we're probably not going to get that from anybody else on the station. So that's why I'm asking you, what hard-hitting question would you ask?
What went wrong last year? I mean, I know it's not hard-hitting, and I know he's going to give us a coach speak answer. But I want to know, right? Like, what 2 or 3 things specifically went wrong last year? I want you to put your finger down and tell me what it was. Don't give me a coach speak answer, right? Was it squarely on DJ Uiagalelei? And if so, what can you say has gotten better, and what will we see that is definitely better this year?
The hard-hitting question I would ask if I had the opportunity would be, have you ever said, aw, shucks, in your entire life? Because apparently, people say that's your attitude. I don't recall ever hearing you say that. Have you ever said, aw, shucks?
Number one, I think that's an expression.
And by the way, I would ask him that.
believe that.
Rob knows I would ask him
that. I absolutely believe that.
Because I hate it. I'm not a Clemson fan. I don't hate Dabo, but I hate how he's depicted as that. The aw shucks moment, because it's kind of regionalism the opposite way that it normally is here towards him because he's from the South.
It has nothing to do with him being from the South. Nothing at all.
I think it does.
Okay, cool. Name me another coach in the South that gets described the way Dabo does. Any of them. Just anybody. There's not. The all shucks mentality has nothing to do with being from the South. You're looking for a reason to be offended for a larger group of people than are actually being attacked.
Why would I do that?
I don't know.
It's not
your style. It's mine. That's my job.
Why would I try to defend Dabo? It just bothers me when they do that because they make the guy sound dumb, and he's not.
Nope.
He has led a team to a couple of championships. He's put together something that someone would consider a dynasty. He's not dumb. So I don't like when someone's depicted that way.
The premise of he has an all shucks personality does not mean that person's dumb. Bless your heart means you're dumb.
Oh, bless your heart means you're an absolute idiot. I know what that means.
You're dumb.
My heart's been blessed a ton of times.
Having an all shucks personality means there's zero edge. There's no edge. There's no touch.
Yeah, but see, that's ridiculous. There's a ton of videos out there of him going off, especially during the Spurrier years when he was losing. So he's got an edge.
I'll tell you what the national critique of Dabo is. The national critique of Dabo, and I think in fact, I know for a fact that I am qualified to speak on this because I broadcasted lots of other places. The mentality.
You may not know this.
You may not know
I've
this.
broadcast many other places.
Many places. The attitude around Dabo is that Dabo is disingenuous. That Dabo puts on a show. That oh shucks, poor little old Clemson. It's just always everybody wants to beat up on little old Clemson. Is an act, is a show.
You sound like Bobby Bowden more so than
Dadgummit.
Yeah.
See, what you need here is some tenacity. Oh, Coach Bad, dadgummit. The mentality of the rest of the country about Dabo is that he's a fraud, is that he's fake, right? It's a hoax, man. He's hokey. That's the mentality about Dabo. I'm not saying it's right. I'm telling you that's what the rest of the country feels about Dabo. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how the rest of the world feels about Dabo Swinney. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is how Clemson feels about Dabo Swinney. And I'd say you feel all right. So that's one thing I've never gotten is why it is that so many Clemson fans react so violently when they go on social media and not Clemson fans have stuff to say about Dabo. And you guys react violently. It's like, why are you worried about it? My man's got you rings, son. Texas says, fan, what went wrong? A bad offensive line, bad wide receiver and quarterback play, bad creative play calling to adjust to sucky creative offensive play calling. Any more questions? Thanks for texting the show, Dabo. Great to have you, my guy. Yeah, I think I would want to hear what Dabo had to say about it, right? With the hindsight of 3, 4, 5 months of rear view window watching time, with the ability to look back at 5 months worth of tape now, what would be his breakdown? What would be his honest breakdown? I'm curious. That would be the question that I'd ask. Do you put it squarely on DJ? Do you put it on the offensive line? Do you put it on the play calling, offensive or defensive? Do you put it on everybody aiming at poor little old Clemson? I think it's a fair question. I'll let you know. I'll tell you this. Last year was kind of interesting for me doing the ACC Media Days for the first time, though. Because when I got there, the first thing you do when you get in there is when you talk to the media coordinators, they go, who do you want to interview? And you give the list. And, of course, everybody writes Dabo number one, right? So I went crazy with mine. I was like, let me get Dabo. Let me get Skalski. I started with DJ. Let me get DJ Uiagalelei. Let me get James Skalski. And I got 3 or 4 Clemson names down. And then I said, let me get Mark Richt. Let me get Wes Durham. Some of the bigger names in ACC broadcasting. Let me get EJ Manuel, etc.
It is kind of cool standing back and watch the circuit.
Yeah.
And watching guys go from spot to spot.
Yeah, that's what they're there for.
If you've never seen a radio row, it's very entertaining just to watch that, unless you're the person trying to get an interview.
Yeah, and that's a pain in the ass. Trust me. and I think we're going to do it again this year. What we did last year was that, Mark sat in on my show. Granted, I was noon to 3, so we did 7 consecutive hours. But whenever it was my show, Mark would run and try to get interviews. During Mark's show, I'd run and try to get interviews. We're taking Owen Watterson with us this year. Poor Owen's going to get to run and get interviews. But anyway, we got this whole thing set up, and it was really interesting because we asked for Wes Durham, Mark Richt, EJ Manuel, DJ Uiagalelei, James Skalski, and a couple of others. And we got all of them except Dabo. And I got to, as a matter of fact, I was talking to EJ Manuel with the ACC network last year when there was just this chaos mid-interview. And we were not on the air yet. And I'm like, hey, what is that? EJ goes, Dabo's here. Didn't even have to get up. Didn't turn around. Didn't look. So when you sit, because we were on TV, we were on the ACC network the entire weekend, or entire media days last year. When you sit, your back is to the lobby where everybody comes in, and you're facing the ACC network display. And EJ and I are facing that direction. And, I covered EJ when he was at Florida State. So, I knew of him, and I was talking to him about his time at FSU or whatever, not on the air yet. And there's just chaos, and EJ's looking at his phone, and I'm like, yo, what is that? And he goes, Dabo's here.
All right, so I think it was 3 years ago when Mark and I were there, and the way our seating was, we could see them come in. And so they probably have changed things. So we saw Dabo come in and saw the clutter and everyone going crazy like he was a rock star. I haven't seen that in person for anyone other than wrestlers. So it was pretty interesting. And that's when I tried to get Mark Ryan to steal oranges out of the Orange Bowl trophy, and he wouldn't do it. Because the security guard he was mean. He was stocky. It was like Taz.
It was like
It
Taz.
was like Taz. He was built like
yeah.
Taz. And I talked really loud on purpose because we were right next to him. I was like, come on, Mark, go get it. Go get it. He's not looking. And he would just turn his head slightly. That dude was scary.
I believe it. I believe it entirely.
So it's a fun time unless you're having to go search for interviews and things like that. And we got to talk to John Simpson a couple of years ago, offensive lineman for Clemson. Got to ask him about Trevor's hair, which he was really fun with that. And then later on, I guess on TV, he, look at you. So that security guard wasn't there, I guess.
No, Taz was not there.
Because I remember I kind of dared you to do that, if I recall. Yeah.
For those of you not watching the stream, which you should be at facebook.com/thefanupstate, facebook.com/thefanupstate, or go to YouTube.
I think you texted me that picture. If I
probably did. Subscribe to the YouTube channel with the Rob Brown Show attached to it. For those of you who don't know, last year, Lonzo, being the ultimate good influence that he is, dared me to get an orange out of the Orange Bowl trophy. And I did. And by the way, Zoe, for the record, they were plastic.
Really?
Yep. I was surprisingly disappointed
Yeah,
by that.
because they look really
They look
good.
super real. I 100% was taking one back to the hotel room. I was taking one back to the hotel room. I was going to have an orange for dessert last night out of the Orange Bowl trophy. Picked one up. I'm like, oh, man. Surprisingly disappointed.
What you should have done is picked it up and threw it at Mark Ryan.
I don't think it was there anymore.
Oh, okay.
Oh, this was the second day. This was the
okay.
shutdown. Yeah.
All right.
This was the shutdown.
All right, so this year, pick one up and throw it at Mark Ryan. You don't have to hit him in the head or anything. Just a nice shoulder shot.
That was for the abundant record. That was at the very end of it.
Where they just didn't care anymore.
It was empty at that point. Correct. It was empty at that point.
Did they have a national trophy there? When we were there, they had a national trophy there. It was pretty cool to get pictures up close and personal with it and stuff. So
I don't remember, to tell you the truth. I think I was so hyper-focused on getting an orange at that point just to prove I could do it. All right, let me take a break. When we come back here in just a minute. We have got, Keegan is Fistball is on the Olympic channel. It's like ping pong and volleyball, but you can only hit the ball with your fist. I'm learning as I go. You have learned.
Are there martial artists on the teams? Or, I mean,
It would be right. Like you got to get like
because you have to
get somebody who
focus.
can time the backhand right.
Yeah.
You know.
Is there like a team of ninjas on one side? I mean, that sounds really cool, actually.
Now I got to find out where I can stream the world. Do we have the Olympic channel up in this B?
Because
I need it.
I don't believe so, but I'll look during the break.
Oh, we're going to find it. I need it. Let's take a break. Back after this. When we do come back, actually, you know what I'm going to do? Because it's a bit of a lengthy, not lengthy, because I want to make sure that I have time to not cut it. When we come back, Julie Carlson. We spoke to Coach Carlson. She's the head coach of the Greenville Liberty. They play this evening. They take on the, I believe, Long Island Rough Riders. That was going to be at 7 o'clock, Legacy Early College. Tickets are on sale. Go to greenvilleliberty.com. Inaugural season for the Liberty, inaugural season of the W League, and they are hosting a playoff game right here in the GVL. I will be on the play-by-play call for you tonight, so I have a breakdown of that game later on. But Julie Carlson, the head coach, joined us last week. We'll replay that interview for you next on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
QC.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you about our friends at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics they're fabulous. They're fantastic. And the reason why is they're non-surgical regenerative therapy. That is to say, when you age like me and you right. Oh, there we go. Casey, that is not. So that's going to be on Mark's show. He will announce those coming up at 3:00 this afternoon. That is on Mark's thing. When we come back here in a minute, Julie Carlson, we had her on the show last week. She is going to join us to, I can do full screen. It's not beautiful, but I can do it. Anyway, she's going to join, or we're going to replay her interview from last week. Should I introduce it and say, hey, just as a recorded interview?
You've been saying it was a recorded interview.
Yeah, but I don't know if we should do it I don't know. You tell me. This is a executive.
I think you've said it enough.
Okay.
I'll take the heat, yo.
That's fine. I doubt there's going to be heat.
Because if that's the case, then someone every single day when they play a recorded interview
Would have to do
to do that. So
fair enough.
If we were to get in trouble for it, it would have to be passed on to others. Unless an excuse would be made for them and not for us. All right, I'm going to take you out of utility, but I got to keep me in it. So.
Back live on the Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate, your home for local sports right here in the upstate of the great state of South Carolina. He is Lonzo, I am Rob, and we are now very pleased to be joined back on the phone line. She is the head coach of the Greenville Liberty, the USLW League, the women's league team right here in the upstate. She is Coach Julie Carlson joining us here on the show. Coach, welcome back. It's been a minute. Great to have you.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, Rob, for having me back on the shows.
Of course. Love being able to talk a little bit about the Liberty. Also, or I should say almost, as much as I enjoy watching you guys play here in the Ville, because Legacy Early College has become a bit of a fortress for the Greenville Liberty. You guys have been white hot at home. Talk to me a little bit about how important it is, especially with the results you've been getting at Legacy, to have next Wednesday's playoff game be right here in the upstate.
I think it's a huge honor. I mean, these girls have worked hard, and their talent level and their outcomes have shown what they're capable of doing. And so I think these results have paid off for them, and they deserve to be playing at home. I think it's a huge opportunity for, a pre-professional team like this group of women to be able to play in front of their home fan base. And I know, Caroline Conti made a comment the other day on a show. It was just like she was one of those little girls in the stands at one point, and now she's on the other side of it, playing in front of those little girls. And I think that's what this whole thing is all about, is putting this now on stage at a more competitive level, playing for something.
I'm glad you said that. When I got asked early in the season, and it's been an absolute honor to be on the play-by-play for you guys this year. When I got asked what the best part of the Liberty has been, aside from just how good this team is, because let's be honest, sports are more fun when your team's good. But aside from that, it has been being able to watch. I go to the every Triumph game, and you see the young people, you see the kids running around kicking the ball. But to have a women's team and to see those little girls that Conti was talking about, see themselves represented. It's not just the guys, but now there is a space for women's professional sports in the upstate. To see them holding up the signs and running up and down the sideline after goal number 5 at home, it's just good for the heart to see that these young girls now have sports role models that they can look up to and see themselves reflected in the sports here in the upstate. And I assume that it's got to feel the same way for you or similar.
Oh, without a question. I think most of the interviews, one of the things I talk about that sticks out the most is just, after the game, they're having to pull out the bag of Sharpies and hand out Sharpies to everybody because everybody's lined up on the stands for, signing autographs, signing posters, signing jerseys now. And, I told our players that this is a reflection of the growth of the women's game, not just worldwide, nationally, but right here at home. And, I think these women coming back and being able to play on their home stage has meant the world to them. The Contis, the Thatchers, they've had an absolute blast doing it. And then obviously the success, and this team has just done a great job. They just click. And seeing the little kids coming from 11-11 and from all these local clubs coming out and actually getting to see these women now play up close.
Julie Carlson is the head coach of the Greenville Liberty. I found it kind of inspiring 2 home matches ago, Coach, after you guys put away another victory and earned another 3 at home. I watched a group of girls come out and to get their picture taken on the pitch. They filled up almost the entire keeper's box. The 6-yard box was almost entirely filled with girls wearing Liberty jerseys and running around. And after the picture had gotten taken, I'm watching 2 or 3 of them take fake penalty kicks, the same way that some of us would get in on an NBA court and pretend to shoot a 3-pointer. And to see that reflection that is caused by you and caused by the girls on this team and caused by the Irwins and the group that made this W League team possible, man, it just warms my heart a little bit, Coach.
Oh, yeah, get you all warm and fuzzy. And, I think that was the Gower swim team that came out. Emmy Wanamaker, who plays at College of Charleston, she teaches swim lessons there. And that's her summer job. And, so she goes out on the field and we set, she's on the field and you can just hear the roar of her name, being announced, and then bringing them on the field to do some activities. And just, it's like anything, when you look up to a role model, you want to replay that person in your mind as a young person. You want to be the Cristiano Ronaldo or the Lionel Messi or, the Alex Morgan. And here it's a different name. It's Emmy Wanamaker. It's Caroline Conti. It's, Megan Bornkamp. It's Carly Thatcher. And the list goes on. And so I think, these young girls put that jersey on. The only thing they haven't been able to do yet is put the name of the player on the back of the jersey. I think that's the next phase for this process.
We're talking to Julie Carlson, head coach of the Greenville Liberty. Let's talk about the girls that make up this team. And I want to talk about some of those results you've been getting, but let's talk about the girls that make up this team, because and having watched all the home games, being on the call for them, have been blown away by Carly Thatcher, who has been so creative with the football, by Megan Bornkamp, who is as dominant of a player anywhere in the midfield as I've seen in a very long time, by Dubum DK, who I have watched just run by girls like they were standing still. There is so much talent on this team. And one thing I've noticed, Coach, during your matches is a lot of these girls can and do play anywhere on the field. There's a lot of versatility because there's so much talent. Talk about the composition of this team and maybe 3 or 4 of the standouts that have really progressed their play throughout this season so far.
I think right at the start, your standouts were, your high-end players, your Megan Bornkamp, Caroline Conti, Debim DK, Carly Thatcher, Caitlin Riley, some of our alumni in the area, Julie Mackin. And as the season's gone on, obviously we haven't had all of those players throughout the season, Megan being called into the U23s and heading out to Sweden. And obviously we have a lot of them here at home, and as we travel, there's a lot of new players that people don't see. Julie Mackin's one that has just she's just thrived as the season's gone on. These older, more mature players that people don't necessarily hear about have been a huge backbone for the success of the team. Haley Schubert, who's played center back, Sarah Jacobs, who's shifted into center back when we're missing key players like Bornkamp, playing huge roles. And then a lot of the Furman players that have been in and out, the Cameron Bollocks of the world, who's played probably every game, almost every minute of every game, who's a stellar little player that plays at Furman, and she's very versatile. She's played predominantly outside back for us, but if we needed her to, she could play in the central midfield. So those types of players have been extremely instrumental, especially when we go away from home and we don't have everybody at our disposal. Of the names that you primarily hear about, there's just a lot of other players that are stepping up and getting the job done for us. Christian Brathwaite, who's now 17, who's a young talent. We're going to bring in a couple of new amateur players to fill in some gaps now that players have left to go back to college. And, the Autumn Kayeli plays at TL Hanna. You're going to start seeing her a little bit more here in the playoffs. But we just really have had a really good shell of quality in training and in games. Some of the Division II players, Alexa Fight has come on and been a real just fire plug for us. She played in the last home game and just did a great job. The Emmy Wanamakers of the world, Riley Parsons, and those guys have just come in and they're just little workhorses without their name being in big lights. But these are players that people should know about. And that list can go long, over and over again with some of the players that we have within our system. And so, because we did have such a solid group of Hal Hirschfeld and Caroline Conti and Megan Bornkamp and Carly Thatcher early on, and then they've been called out. They've had other conflicts, obviously being a pre-professional league. And then so we've had to really rely on the depth charts to bring in some new players. And, those guys have just done a great job for us.
Julie Carlson, head coach of the Greenville Liberty. They will host a first-round playoff game in the USLW League next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Legacy Early College. Tickets are available right now at greenvilleliberty.com. That is one interesting aspect that you, Coach Carlson, get to deal with. And obviously the team has to make adjustments in and of themselves as well, in that you have girls who are committed and on the roster at universities like Auburn and Georgia, like Furman and Clemson, et cetera. And they are getting called back, which means that this roster kind of has to rotate game by game. And, oh, by the way, it's playoff time. So there's that. Talk to me a little bit about how you and the coaching staff deal with that, maybe getting players prepped to play multiple positions based on who's getting called up and down, and how the girls, how the team, how the ones wearing the uniform are having to work with each other to develop chemistry when they may not always know who's going to be available in the next match or not until you're right up against it.
Oh, it's definitely a different type of recipe that has to get mixed and blended together, so, we're working with the university's compliance side because there's things the kids can't miss to allow them to be available to the program, especially like weekends. There's no compliance conflicts based on the NCAA. And then the ones that are still available to us, we're trying to just get them into training, let them know what their foundation is going to look like, what their responsibilities are going to look like on the field when it comes to maybe adjusting how we play in a formation, whether we adjust based on personnel. Do we move a forward back into the back line? We move a player in the back line up front and utilize their abilities and their pace to design a little bit of a different recipe to get some success. And so, we haven't really played too many players out of their normal position, but, we have had some that kind of had to dive in with both feet as of late and had to adjust on the fly. And so we have to work through them as well as just coaching them between the ears to give them a positive outlook on what their responsibilities are so they go in with some confidence.
Julie Carlson, head coach of the Greenville Liberty, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate coach. Legacy Early College has been Easton Smith and I, who's my partner on the call, have been we've been calling it a fortress lately because your girls have been spectacular at home. I believe outscoring opponents to the tune of like 26-4 or 26-5 at this point. It has been remarkable to have that much of a run at home. What is it about playing at Legacy Early that has gotten not just so many results, but I mean sheer dominance on the home pitch? Not that you guys have been bad on the road by any stretch, you absolutely have not, but it just seems like this team hits a different gear when they're at home. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
I think the goal moves a little bit in our favor sometimes. You actually see the posts maybe move around. It is a game of inches a little bit. I think there's a couple of things. I think one, we've created a pretty good, I think, intimidating atmosphere at Legacy, with the fan base and just everything being so organized and run so well. And it's not like you're showing up and it's just this fancy club game. I think people are showing up and you have the smoke and you have the fans, you have the Reedy Riot group giving all kinds of heckle to the other team. And, I think that just develops all this energy. And I think our players are very much on stage and they just don't want to let the upstate fans, they don't want to let each other down. I think that puts them on a stage and they've really shown that they can mastermind the pressure of performing out at Legacy. And they just get into a rhythm. And then the way they find the rhythm, they're able to their mindset. They've done a really good job of being able to channel their energy in a positive way and create some great soccer. And I think too, like I said just a minute ago, I think there's some intimidation factors that go into an opposing team coming into that environment there. Because we have been successful. We are an intimidating team when we start running at them at full speed, and we can get them on the back hill early. And I think when we get a team on the back hill early, which we've been very successful doing at Legacy, then it's very hard for another team to dig themselves out, and it's easy for us to manage. And that's always been kind of the goal, is like, can we get on that front foot early in that first 45 minutes?
It is impressive to me just how physical your team plays, how aggressively your team plays, especially as you mentioned early. We've talked a little bit about that on the broadcast, about how this team comes out of the gate, not just let's feel this out, but let's go take advantage of this. Let's make them figure us out instead of doing it the other way. And it's been very engaging to watch. So you guys are at home. We've got to wait this weekend to find out who the opponent's going to be. But you talked about the Reedy River Riot in Section 110, popping the smoke and playing the drums. We've seen a couple of matches with really good attendance. How important will it be to you, to the girls, to the Liberty, to have as full of a Legacy Early College as we can get next Wednesday for that first home playoff match?
I think it's one of the most important things that needs to happen here in the upstate is, can we sell out or close to selling out that stadium, just to show support for the women's game here in the area. I think it could be the best. Obviously we're trying to make history in an inaugural season. We're trying to advance, and I'm pretty certain that, winning that game and advancing forward, we'll get a host again. And so the goal is for us to carry all the way through and try to host a final here at home and win the whole thing. That's now the ultimate goal. And to do that, I think we need the support of people in the upstate. We need them to come out and create an energy level that's, top of the line here in the upstate. And I think that's so important, not just to me personally and to the organization, but to these players. I think they've earned that stage, and I think that the fan base should come out and support them to continue this stage, throughout the rest of the season, going in and preparing for next year. What does that stage look like? You're going to entice even better players. You're going to entice these great players to come back. And I think that atmosphere is extremely important.
Love to hear it. Coach Julie Carlson, head coach of the Greenville Liberty. Again, they will be playing in their first playoff match next Wednesday at home, Legacy Early College at 7 p.m. Tickets available at greenvilleliberty.com. Cannot wait to be in the stadium for that. Coach, congratulations. It has been a remarkable season so far, and I expect at least a couple more wins if we can get them, please, and thank you.
That's the goal. Yep, we're pushing hard for it. I know the kids want it really bad.
There you have it. Coach, thank you very much for your time. It's been a pleasure, as it is always. And hopefully the next time we talk to you, we'll have a big old trophy in the background of your scene there.
Yes, sir. Silver Cup. Thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Always, always. That is Coach Julie Carlson. She is the head coach of the Greenville Liberty, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. And we, of course, appreciate her time. As always, we will have her back on very, very soon. Tell you about my friends at Harley Davidson of Greenville, ladies and gentlemen. 30 Chrome Drive right here in the Ville, regardless of what stage.
Yeah, we're back. I don't know. I think there's been a couple like that. Uh-huh.
Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click, call, or visit allstate.com to save today. Not available in every state. Savings vary, subject to terms and conditions with availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company, Northbrook, Illinois.
Want the news without the noise? News Nation is news for all America. Reporting all sides, no spin, and no agendas. Go to newsnationnow.com/join us to find News Nation on your television provider.
Thanks again to Coach Julie Carlson, head coach of the Greenville Liberty. They will be at home tonight, Legacy Early College, 7 p.m. The first ever playoff game, hosted, of course, right here in the for the inaugural season of the USLW League, and the inaugural season, by the way, of the Greenville Liberty. This is another example of why this is not just a phenomenal sports community, but a phenomenal soccer community as well. Excited to be on the call for you tonight. If you won't be able to attend in person, 11sports.com, 11sports.com. You'll be able to watch the game there. Coming up in the next hour, I got sound from Trevor Lawrence. What are you looking for next season with the Jags? Thoughts from TL16 and more on the Rob Brown Show. Rob Zoe and you, this Fan Upstate. I like that not only does Steven recognize it, but he knows the terminology now.
Well, he's heard me say it enough. Yeah. So you missed a minute of Rob telling you what he's talking about the next hour. Do you know what that means? No, that means it's a mystery.
Everything's a
So
surprise.
if you stay tuned, you'll be able to hear, what he was actually saying.
Everything's a surprise now.
And Rob can't wait for that.
Hey, it's Amy Lawrence. Be sure to listen to CBS Sports Radio at home. Just ask Alexa to play CBS Sports Radio.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their
To diversify your portfolio.
Portfolios?
No, we tailor our clients' portfolios to their
No, you silly man.
Sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our clients' best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structure, so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Wonderful product. I've lost 111 pounds using that product. 111 pounds. You could not believe the difference. I went from a 48 pant to a 33 pant, and I've maintained that now for over almost a year.
You know, Steven, don't say stuff like that because I absolutely hate that commercial. I mean, we appreciate the ad, money, but I don't like the commercial, okay? It's torturous. It makes me not want to buy your ice cream.
But it's a perfect way to say, have yourself a Bluebell Country Day.
Whatever, man.
Whatever, man.
When I think of the good old days, I don't think how they tasted. But that's just me.
So much in Alan Shipno's book about Phil Mickelson when it came to his longtime caddy, Bones McKay.
Plus, what if we're living the good old days right now, Rob? What if 20 years from now you look back and go, those were the good old days?
When we had Bluebell advertisements.
No, more it's when Lonzo was around. I won't be dead. I'll just be in a retirement home somewhere going, where's my pudding? Be scamming the old people playing shuffleboard. Do they still play?
Scamming the old people.
Yeah, because I won't be old. Do they still play shuffleboard?
Yeah, heck yeah.
I've never played shuffleboard, but it looks
How have you never played shuffleboard? I guess the same way you've never played cornhole.
because I do not belong to the AARP yet. That is why. I've seen the handheld, the table
Yeah.
shuffleboard, but that doesn't appear to be the same. What is the thing that you shove the shuffleboard with called?
A shuffler. I don't actually know. That was sarcasm.
I think it's a legitimate question. I don't know.
Well, it's a very legitimate question. I just don't know the answer to it.
What is the thingy that you push the shuffle board with? Don't you correct me to thing. I meant thingy.
Said what I said, Google.
It's a cue. It's a cue stick. No, it's not. And the picture has a couple of older gentlemen. One of them wearing a Mark Ryan polo. The other one wearing a
Mark
or
Ryan
a sweatshirt.
polo.
Hey, that's what dude's going to look like when he's 70. I'm telling you. It's striped. It's got the different color collar. You know what I'm talking about? Not even he would dispute me on that. Because then he'd have to get rid of part of his closet. So if that's called a cue, so is the shuffleboard what you play on, or is it what? So what is the projectile?
Disc. At shuffleboard.net, there is the list of here's if you had any thoughts about whether or not Lonzo and I come from the same world, here's how you can tell we absolutely do not. Lonzo's sitting here asking about shuffleboard terminology, which is a very fair thing to ask about. You know, I'm curious too, and you know, not that Lonzo's anywhere near retirement age.
Oh, come on.
He's not quite ready for the home, I don't think. Right?
But I'm preparing for when I am, because that's what you do. You be prepared. I might be, 5, 10, 20 years out, but when I get there, I want to be able to say, hey, let's go play some shuffleboard and know how to do the thing.
Of course. So I went to go look up shuffleboard terminology, and I came to the conclusion as I was setting this up that, I'm looking at bar shuffleboard, not old people with sticks pushing what I'm assuming are going to be called disc on the line shuffleboard.
I figured you as a 1%er would know, because it's a 1%er sport for old people.
No.
At least I didn't ask you about polo.
Croquet.
No, croquet is not. Croquet is the most amazing sport ever created.
Dude, croquet is the definition of a 1%er sport, my guy.
It is not.
It absolutely. Are you kidding me?
Then how did my family from Kentucky start playing it and pass it on from generation to generation?
Horse racing's for rich people too. Y'all got that up in Kentucky?
We just raise the horses. We ain't got the money to actually, run them. Unless we're running from revenuers,
All right. Let's get a couple things in here. I want to start Trevor Lawrence. TL16, baby. Oh, here you go. Mama Brown has texted the show and said the metal and plastic pucks are called weights or shuckles. Yeah, weights or shuckles.
Give me my cue stick. I'm going to get my shuckle on. Will that work when I'm like 72?
I don't know. I will be well behind you, buddy.
I'm going to... Yeah, and of course you're not going to visit me at the home. So I'm trying to prepare and be ready.
I haven't ruled it out. We'll see how I feel.
Well, I'll be in Florida. So, because that's where you go once you reach a certain age. I've already moved partially there when I got a little bit older, so I'm ready.
Let's get to some stuff here, shall we? Let's get to some stuff. Let's start with, let's go with TL16, Trevor Lawrence. He joined the herd with Colin Cowherd the other day. Yesterday. And that's where the sound comes from. I'm going to start with clip number, let me start with 4C, if you don't mind. Trevor got asked about the learning curve of the National Football League. And he said, hey, look, it is what it is. It takes some time to catch up. It takes some time to get comfortable in the league, right? Which makes sense that it would. He said it takes some time to get comfortable, to kind of find your spot, to learn the speed of defensive backs, etc. Even for a guy like TL16. TL got asked, what was it like trying to catch up to the show? And here's what Trevor had to say.
Yeah, you gotta have thick skin, and then like Coach Sweeney always told me in college, not just me, the whole team, you gotta have amnesia, just being able to forget things and keep playing. I mean, that's no matter which position you play, you got to be able to do that, especially quarterback, just because throughout the course of a game, you're going to have so many ups and downs, great plays, bad plays, plays you want back, all those. You got to be able to bounce back and focus on the next one. So I think that's huge. Obviously, had way more turnovers than I wanted to have last year, and that's something that's been a big emphasis for me this offseason. But I've always had that mindset, just keep playing. Like, I'm not going to let one play. Obviously, you have to be smart, and there's times I could have been played a lot smarter. But you have to have that mindset that I'm not going to let the last play dictate the next one. If you do that, that's just going to keep compounding and piling up on you. So you got to just be able to forget it and keep playing. I mean, that's why I think, I have a special talent. I think I can bring a lot to the table. And if I start taking that, away just because I had a bad play, I'm not helping anybody out.
I mean, pretty standard stuff, right? It's pretty much what you want to hear out of your guy.
So conceited. I've got a special talent. Yeah, right. That was sarcasm.
Where's
people.
your Heisman then, bro?
Yeah.
Yeah, where's your Heisman, bro?
Yeah.
What a terrible take.
I hurt some people there, though.
I know you did.
I hurt them.
So did I. You're so good. Where's your Heisman, man? Shut up. Anyway,
has he learned to surf yet? That's the question I would ask him.
Lonzo walks in. I'm like putting all this together this morning before the show starts, and he's like, No. I need you to Google something first. And he's got me Googling scenes from Fast Times at Ridgemont High before we go on the air.
Spicoli's a classic, man.
Read it.
He was the original, bro.
Learn it. Live it. All right. He's the one that ordered pizza in class in that movie, right? Wasn't he?
Yes.
That's what I thought. Anyway, TL went on and talked about being a leader. Actually, let me go clip 4, just straight clip 4. Talked about, Coward asked him, you didn't lose a lot anywhere before you got to Jacksonville. Was the stat Trevor never had back-to-back losses from like middle school through college? Something ridiculous like that? Well, he did at Jacksonville lots of times. By the way, I put all that at the feet of Urban Meyer. Let me just be clear. I put all of it at the feet of Urban Meyer. And I will tell you, victory never tasted as sweet as my colleague and comrade in arms, Mark Ryan, having to buy me the absolute fruitiest drink with a flower on top because I told him there was 0% chance Herb made it through the season, and everybody went, "You're just a hater, Rob."
Well,
what happened?
You are just a hater.
I'm sorry, what happened?
What you're implying,
Right, but what happened,
what
though?
you're saying underneath all the vitriol and
but
all
what
that
happened,
stuff, what you're saying is Jacksonville is a noted place where victories come all the time. So the fact that Trevor was going there, of course he was going to win a lot. It didn't matter what coach it was last year. It doesn't matter what coach it is this year. It's still Jacksonville. Come on.
Herb sucks.
Whatever.
Herb
It's still
sucks.
so it's a better team now that he's gone. They're gonna win they're gonna win a bunch this year.
I bet you they win more than they did last year.
All right, define more could just be one more. That could just be one more. It's still Jacksonville. This year though, here's the difference. If Trevor doesn't improve his game, which he can, he has the talent, but if he does not improve his game, he will finally get some of the blame that he should have gotten last year.
It wasn't his blame to be gotted.
Oh, yeah. He was on the field, okay? He made those mistakes. Urban Meyer didn't make those mistakes. He did. He threw the interceptions. He did the things that, a first-year quarterback usually does. But still, he got zero blame because of Urban Meyer. And I would, the Khan family is in wrestling. Okay, this is all the work is what this is. They brought in Urban Meyer because they knew that Trevor Lawrence was going to struggle. They knew that. So to take the heat off of their promising new quarterback, they brought in someone to be a disaster. So all the media attention would be.
So Herb is bad. So they knew he was going to be a disaster.
He absolutely is as an NFL coach. As a college coach, he's a proven winner. You can't take that away from him. You could try, but you can't. So the Khan,
he does a pretty good job at taking things away from himself.
The Khan family knew that that Trevor was going to struggle. So being a wrestling family, they set the work up. They brought in Urban, knowing that all this stuff was going to happen. He could be taken away in the middle of the season, and then no blame would get put on Trevor Lawrence. I'm sure Tony wrote the whole thing.
What a hell of a script there, TK.
Not bad.
Beautiful
Not bad.
Script. Well put together. Had me by. It was me the whole time, Urban. Responding to losing streaks. Clip 4. Here is what TL16 had to say.
Yeah, I mean, it was a long year for sure. I'd say, I think I'd stayed pretty positive the whole year. There were definitely some times where, especially after a game, you're going home and you're just like, man, you're on a losing streak of 5 or 6 games in a row. It gets a little rough. Like, I hadn't lost more than 5 or 6 games probably my whole career up until that point. So that was definitely a reality check for sure. But just trying to stay positive, try to keep the team together. I think that was something I tried to do the whole season. And yeah, it was challenging. I think I learned a lot from last year. Obviously, you get a different perspective than when you're just winning like I'd done in the past. So I had a lot greater of appreciation for winning, for one, and then just being able to overcome some of those challenges and then face all of them. And then now going into a new year with a lot of confidence, good team around us, great staff. I'm really excited.
He was struggling there. With that answer, he was struggling. I can't blame him. He was on Cowherd show. You're going to struggle when you're on that show. Just looking at Cowherd would make you struggle. But you could tell that losing really bothered him, which should. But it's definitely not something that he's used to.
Texter says Vince Russo couldn't write something so ridiculous.
Which is why it's real.
Texter says, Rob, can't believe Bible-thumping Lonzo is defending the adulterer Urban Meyer.
Never defended him. See, that's the funny part. And I don't understand Bible thumping. Where did that come from?
Don't know.
I mean,
I'm not in charge of our texters.
I mean, did someone actually thump someone with a Bible? I've seen some pretty big ones. It probably would hurt if you got thumped, but I've never seen thumping before. And here's the other thing. I didn't defend him. What he did was despicable and ridiculous, but putting the blame on the entire, the team's woes entirely on him is also ridiculous when a quarterback came in and played subpar and got zero blame, which I predicted before the entire season, and I was right, that he would get zero blame because it would all be on the coach because he got so much attention before the season even started. And I know I was absolutely right. And this year, I hope Trevor does better because he has awesome hair, and that's a plus for me.
He does have good hair.
But he's going to be shown for what he is or isn't this year without having focus on his coach. Come on, defending Urban Meyer. Shut up.
Trey says Herb was in bars and AEW shows more than he was in the film room. Urban's so bad at his job.
Hey, his best
everything.
move last year was handing the laptop to Jericho. Come on. You want to give him that. Come on, Rob. I know you hate the guy. Give him that.
Listen, I would also being in wrestling doesn't make you a good person.
I said it was a good move. It was a good move. You can't say it was a good move. You can't do that.
I can't give him credit for anything. Call me a hater. All right.
I would like to see some growth as a human. You're acting like Baker Mayfield right now.
Well, that's just offensive. Baker's a good guy.
I think you need to grow up.
Clip number 4A, Trevor Lawrence on trying to maintain leadership.
By the way, Baker, if you're listening, that was just a joke. It was sarcasm. I think you're awesome, dude.
Yeah, we both stan Baker on this show. We both stan Baker in this show.
All right, I promise I'll quit interrupting. 4A.
4A, Trevor on leading in the face of a bunch of L's.
It had its challenges. I think obviously the first month or so is challenging just because, like you said, I'm the youngest guy. One, I'm a rookie, but two, I was only in school for 3 years, so I'm already used to being younger than anyone anyway. So then to go there and you got guys that are 10 years older than you that you're playing with. So that first month, you're trying to feel it out. You're really just trying to put your head down and work and, kind of earn the respect of all your teammates. And then after that, people that's how sports is. You just respect how people play and then how they carry themselves. So I think, I gained the respect of my teammates pretty quick. And then from there, it was just trying to be myself. And obviously there was a lot of challenges and a little bit of added pressure last year just because we didn't have a great year. But no, I think once the season started, really our team stayed together the whole season. I think we had a mutual respect for one another. And just trying to lead more and more as the season went on. And then now going into year 2, having more confidence, knowing all the guys on the team and being able to step into that leadership role more, I think has been great, even just in OTAs so far. And it's been a lot of fun. I think this season's going to be a lot different just because I think we have from myself, better leadership, but also around the team. So I think it's going to be a much different year.
So he basically says, look, it's tough to not only be a rook, but to be a rook in a situation where the team sucks. And the team sucked last year, no doubt. Here's what I will say goes to the benefit.
The team has sucked historically.
True. Not historically. They had a couple of years where they were pretty good. They had an AFC title run in there somewhere.
Yeah, but everyone has a good day.
Even me.
Historically, they haven't been good.
So I'm not disagreeing with that, certainly. I'm not disagreeing with that, certainly. What I would say here is that it's tough to me to drop that on TL. And what has been really interesting, in my opinion, is that TL probably has taken less heat, and I think this is a testament to Trevor, right? Like I think this is a credit to Trevor. I think TL has taken less heat than most, I think it's fair to say, most other rookie quarterbacks, right? I think most other rookie quarterbacks in this spot have taken more heat than Trevor. Oh, you're a first overall draft pick, and you're supposed to be this, and you're supposed to be that, and you're supposed to be taking us to new heights, etc. And he did in his rookie year. And I think a lot of people kind of got to the point where with other rookie quarterbacks they'd give up. Jacksonville has been so bad, and Trevor Lawrence throughout his entire career has been so good that he managed to avoid that scrutiny. He managed to avoid that heat, right?
See, my other concern is this. If he struggles again this year, the narrative is already written. Well, the shadow of Urban Meyer is still on this team. Good on Trevor, I guess, that he's not getting the heat that he should have for doing what you just said. Most rookie quarterbacks that are number one picks, they get a lot of attention, and they should. They're number one picks. But he didn't get the attention he should because of Urban Meyer. And if they struggle again this year, they'll say the shadow of Urban Meyer. It's hard to recover from all that. But he'll do better next year instead of actually looking at how he plays. And again, I hope Jacksonville makes the playoffs. I do. I like Trevor Lawrence. I thought he was a really good quarterback. I think he has some flaws, and I think the NFL is showing them. Can he grow? Yes, absolutely can. Can he get better? He can. But now, hopefully, the blame won't be everywhere else. The blame will be on him if he doesn't grow.
I will actually agree with you on one part of that. And the part I will agree on is that TL16 had some flaws that really did not get exposed at Clemson. And why would they have, right? Like, he was just that much better than everybody else. But
they did in the games that he lost. The games that he lost, you could see what those flaws were. When he faced really good defenses. And even the worst defense in the NFL is a pretty good defense.
I honestly, I wouldn't even disagree with that. I think that...
Why do you act like it's so hard to agree with me?
I'm not. I'm saying that TL16 is a dude that's hard to criticize, right? Career-wise, Trevor Lawrence is a dude that it has been remarkably difficult to criticize. He's been good everywhere he's gone throughout his career. It's kind of hard to criticize the guy. I think that after Jacksonville's year last year, Trevor has still avoided a lot of scrutiny. I think the best thing going for Trevor right now is that you can't put that on. The best thing that's happened to Trevor's career after 1 year is also the worst thing that's happened to it, and that is Urban Meyer, right? Herb tanked Trevor's rookie year. Don't disagree with me. I'm right. Herb tanked Trevor's rookie year. You can argue Jacksonville's always been bad, and I'm good with that. But Herb was specifically bad. However, Herb being so bad at his job worked out well for TL16 because Trevor struggling does what? Everybody says what? Trevor was not, what happened last year was not Trevor's fault. What happened last year was entirely Urban Meyer's fault. So Trevor gets a little bit off the hook for it. I will say this, to Lonzo's point, next year, the Jags will have to take some level of scrutiny off of it. Why? Because in their quest to add weapons for TL16, they added Christian Kirk. And not just added Christian Kirk, but added him on one of the biggest free agency contracts the NFL saw this year.
Where did he play previously?
Minnesota, I think. Minnesota? I think?
Well, if he did play for Minnesota, he is probably getting an upgrade because he no longer has to catch balls from Kirk Cousins.
Poor Kirk Cousins. Always dogged.
Kirk Cousins, the ultimate scammer. Man, that dude has made money after money after money, and he's not very good. I appreciate that.
Last quote. Texter says, Trevor really has no excuse this year, though, with Doug Peterson and an army of quarterback coaches. Well, he actually talked about that. Clip 4B, if you don't mind. It's the last one, then we'll take a break. Trevor talking about his new shot. Oh, Arizona, by the way, not Minnesota. Thank you, Trey and Will, for correcting me. I know.
All right, so now his quarterback's a lot taller. I mean a lot taller, like 3 times the height of his former quarterback.
Anyway, here's TL talking about the new leadership in the front office.
Yeah, just kind of the way he looks at the game. Obviously, the experience he's had playing quarterback in the NFL, being a head coach, offensive coordinator, all those things, winning a Super Bowl as a player and a coach. You look at all of that, and his resume speaks for itself. But then just seeing the way he carries himself, the way he treats people, I think the way he leads, I think we're similar. Just our demeanors, our personality. Doesn't get too high or too low. I think that's really important to have if you're going to be a really good head coach, especially in the NFL. It's been great getting to know him. I think he's done a great job just planning out our off season. There was a lot of changes we needed to make, and I think he's made those. He's put together a great plan of progressing our team offensively and defensively. So now that we're ready going into camp, I think he's done a great job. So I'm excited. And then not only him, just having Coach McCoy, Press Taylor, Jim Bob Cooter, all those guys to pull from that are all offensive minds that have called plays before, and seeing everybody work together and just being able to soak all that up has been awesome.
You want to say it, or you want me to say it, Lonzo?
The way that he could say Jim Bob Cooter without saying Jim Bob Cooter is amazing. How can you not put some twang on that name? How can you not do it? Still the greatest name ever in football. So glad he's still in football.
Jim Bob Cooter. I mean.
Hey, Coach Jim Bob, I got a question.
Coach Jim Bob. Old Jim Bob Cooter.
I need to look it up. Is Jim Bob, is there a hyphen in there? And Cooter's his last name, right?
Cooter's his last name. It is Jim Bob Cooter.
So he prefers to be called Jim Bob Cooter.
It's his name.
I know, but
James Robert Cooter has switched it from James to Jim, Robert to Bob, and Cooter to Cooter.
All right, so I don't know what your middle name is, but people don't say your entire
it's
name.
Robert. Oh, my middle name?
Yes.
No.
So people don't say your entire name every time they say your name.
I am called Rob Brown more than I'm called Rob. I am called Rob
Well,
Brown.
there's a reason why there's 10,000 Robs around here. You got to be
right.
specific. Just like there are 10,000 Tims.
Right.
It's just like Robs and Tims everywhere.
Yeah, I am called, even by family members, I am Rob Brown more than I'm Rob. Like, even away from the radio, I am Rob Brown more than I'm Rob. I'm going to tell you right now, if my first name was James and my middle name was Robert, I don't know that I'd flip it to Jim Bob. And if it was, and my last name was Cooter, I certainly don't know if I'd go Jim. Because it's one of two options. You either go, never, and I will fist fight you if you call me Jim Bob Cooter, or you lean way into it and you go, hell yeah, call me Jim Bob Cooter. I'm down here to coach some dadgum quarterbacks.
So I've never heard him say Coach Cooter.
Coach Cooter.
It's always Coach Jim Bob Cooter.
That's his dadgum name, son. All right, we got to take a dadgum break here. Come on, Brat. Here in just a minute. My man's in the NFL. I'm making fun of the name. Dude's in the NFL. Has been in the NFL
But
for
must
a minute.
prefer to be called Jim Bob Cooter.
He's got to, right?
Yes.
Dude has been coaching in the league since 2009. My guy.
Does anyone know Nick Saban's middle name? I mean, any coach you can think of. Tomlin. What's his middle name? What's his first name? It doesn't pop into my mind. Okay, but it doesn't just immediately. You don't go Mike Tomlin. You go Coach Tomlin. I just Coach Jim Bob Cooter. We need to get Coach Jim Bob Cooter as a guest right here on the Rob Brown Show.
You don't understand how much I want to talk to Jim Bob Cooter and ask him, when we refer to you, is it Jim? Is it Jim Bob? Is it Coach Cooter? Is it Jim Bob Cooter? Or is it Coach Jim Bob Cooter? What do you want? Because I'm down for it. All right. I'm back after this on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. Jim Bob!
Prisma. Oh, right now, no, you're not. You could be though. You could be doing astral projection, also known as astral projection. Astral projection is, yeah. Oh, that is so cool.
What an absolute take right there.
Someone did and you won't know who this is, but they did a Eddie Munson thing in their cornfield. Is so wicked.
Eddie Munson. I know Eddie Munster.
Eddie Munson is a character from Stranger Things 4.
See the one that plays the guitar?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to pretend like I don't see Roger's comment.
Well, now I have to go actually look at it. Uh-oh, another offensive lineman gone, Lonzo.
It's not gone yet. Does Jim Bob Cooter like being
Called
called
Jim Bob Cooter.
Jim Bob Cooter? Okay. Quarterback Matthew Stafford, not sure whether to call him Jim or Bob or Jim Bob, said he asked Cooter how to address him, and Jim Bob was the answer.
Jim Bob.
I thought it was awesome, Stafford said. It's quality stuff.
It is quality stuff.
Yes, it is.
I concur. I concur with Matty.
Here's one. Lions Jim Bob Cooter explains the best name in sports. It is what it is, Cooter said. I'm from Tennessee. It is what it is, Cooter said. I'm from Tennessee, and I'm pretty southern Tennessee. I mean, it's on down there pretty good. There's a lot of people with two names, a lot of spaces out there in my classroom growing up.
In my classroom.
Did my best Tennessean accent. It was an up-and-coming accent. Eventually, it's going to be a winning accent again. I'm not sure when, but, you know.
What are you going to win with it?
Just talking about the team, you know, up-and-coming, you know.
So Lonzo did some extensive research during the break, found out that Jim Bob Cooter does indeed prefer to be called Jim Bob, which means that when you're on the field with him, it's Coach Jim Bob. And Matt Stafford described it as, and I quote, good stuff.
Because, you know, Jim Bob, he's from Tennessee.
Good old Jim Bob.
But loves that rocket top.
Wait, give me that quote from him again. Do you still have it up?
I already got rid of it.
He said, back in Tennessee, there's a lot of kids with two first names.
So you got to have your last name in there.
Yeah.
Jim Bob, Billy Joe, Jim Bob, Billy Joe, Jim Bob, Billy Joe. Hey, why isn't Jim Bob here today?
Which one, ma'am? And for the record, this is not making fun.
He's helping his Uncle Billy Joe with the steel.
He's down there at his Uncle Jim Bob's. They're helping with old Uncle Jim Bob's other Uncle Jim Bob's car.
They heard Rocky Top too many times and he has to go to therapy.
Good old Rocky Top. Woo. All right. Love that. Yes, it is fun. I'm not making fun of people with two first names, but Jim Bob Cooter. Now, the only thing that's great about it is Trevor Lawrence just running by Jim Bob Cooter like it's another name. You know, I'm down there with Coach Peterson, Coach Williams, Coach Jim Bob Cooter, Coach Bill.
Right. I mean, yeah.
Like, it wasn't even a thing to him, man.
It may not have stood out to anybody else, but I just thought that was, straight read. That was just.
When I was recording it this morning, Like when we record, you got to let it play to record. And so I let it record through, and ordinarily, but when Trevor said that, I was like, stop, no, wait, nah, Trevor trying to slip one by on me. Did he just go coach Jim Bob Cooter? Sure as hell did. And it was amazing. All right. NBA Board of Governors did meet yesterday and discussed adding the play-in tournament as a regular part of future league seasons, according to ESPN. The NBA had been voting on the play-in's inclusion on a year-to-year basis since 2020, but the support exists ahead of yesterday's ownership meetings at the Summer League to turn the competition into a regular component of the league's schedule. Before we get into the results, Lonzo, are you pro or anti play-in tournament? Did you like it? Did you enjoy it the last 2 seasons?
You know, the popular thing to say would be, no, I can't stand it, but I kind of like it. I kind of like it. It adds a little bit of drama to the last few seeds there. Instead of, one team getting in, they get to fight for it. Yeah, I like it. It's more basketball.
Which is the best part.
Right.
Give me more. Are you kidding me? Give me more basketball. Why would I not? Why do you people? It's the same with the bowl games for me. Why do you want less bowl games? Why do you want less basketball? Why do you want less football? Of course I want more football, man. Of course I want more football. Of course I want more basketball. Are you kidding me? This is great. The play-in tournament is a blast. The other thing that's being discussed is flattening the odds in the draft lottery or not. The discussion is about trying to find new ways to stop teams from tanking, basically. According to an ESPN report, the feeling around the league is that the play-in tournament has basically flattened the odds in the draft lottery, that it's given less incentive to finish with the worst record in the league, which is basically stop teams from tanking. But here's the thing, and by the way, 71307, Preferred Home Services text line, texter just said, as a Charlotte Hornets fan, I can't say I'm a fan of the play-in. Is it just me? The play-ins are the playoffs, right? It's just round one of the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. It's round one.
As far as I'm concerned, if you're in the play-in, you have made the playoffs, right? If you are in the play-in, you are in the playoffs. That's how I feel about it. They ought to just, I know it's more exciting to refer to it as the play-in tournament. It's more exciting to refer to it as your last chance to get into the show. It's more exciting to refer to it that way. But there are teams who just missed the 9 spot, right? There are teams that just missed the 9 spot. They're out of the playoffs, dude. You're in the playoffs. Now, it'll be harder for that last spot to not just win 2 series instead of 1, but to win 2 series on the road instead of 1 at home. But it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Let's just throw it down. It is the playoffs at this point. It is the playoffs. So, a bunch of people are about this, are against this, and I do not understand it. I don't. All right, coming up on tomorrow's radio broadcast, we are going to talk Open Championship as we will start from St. Andrews. I've got no Scottish accent.
It's not bad.
It's terrible.
Yeah, but at least people know that what you're trying to do there.
St. Andrews. Freedom.
I knew where you were going next. I was going to say.
Had to.
Had to. Such a gruesome movie.
Oh, it's so great, though.
Those injuries,
still great.
Seeing limbs actually, it was rough.
Still a great movie. We'll talk about
until the betrayal at the end, but
that's the point of the movie. Without the betrayal, sacrifice is less important. It'd be kind of like if you had a whole movie based on, I don't know, giving hope to a resistance
There's
movement.
no hope. No hope at all.
And at the end, you had to sacrifice yourself in order to give hope to an entire next generation of rebels to succeed against, I don't know, let's call it an empire. It would be a true sacrifice.
Retconned and wasn't canon and should never have been and should disappear. Not William Wallace though, because
Well, and so on your Mount Rushmore of bad takes, this would be 3 of them. Rogue One is great. Braveheart is great.
Well,
Open Championship's going to be amazing.
Don't put those in the same sentence to make it sound like I said Braveheart was not great. Braveheart is an awesome movie. I just said the depiction of the limbs cutting off was rough, but excellent. The effects work was great. I didn't like him being betrayed at the end, But still, I mean, he led a movement. It was great. But you cannot compare the two movies because one is based on a true story, Rob Brown. Based. Based is a broad word. It really is.
All right, we'll talk Open Championship.
This show is based on a true story.
Tomorrow on the show. Also tomorrow on the show, we will talk Braves baseball because last night, how about the Bravos? They leveled the series with the Mets yesterday evening. It brings them to back within a game and a half. They've got another shot this afternoon. To knock that down to 1 game against the Mets. And they are playing at 12:20. Little afternoon baseball, baby. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow. We'll see what the results are tomorrow as the Braves were able to get a win last night. Matty Ice, Matt Olson came through big time for the Bravos last night. Hits a late 2-run shot and a 4-1 score recorded. It was the exact same score the Mets beat the Braves by on Monday night. The Bravos get it back on Tuesday. Tonight, the rubber stamp game of this 3-game set, and it's a massive one. The Braves can get one this evening. That would go a long, long way. It would go a long, long way towards the Braves being able to keep the Mets in check as they get Jacob deGrom back. It'll be Chris Bassett and Charlie Morton. And again, that game starts up here actually in about 40 minutes from right now. Take the rest of the day off, kids. Let's all watch baseball. Tonight, Greenville Liberty at home. Legacy Early College. That game's going to be at 7 p.m. I will be on the play-by-play call. If you cannot make it out to that match, that will be broadcast on 11sports.com. You can watch the game there. I'll be on the call alongside my partner, Easton Smith. Looking forward to that. Tickets are still available at greenvilleliberty.com. greenvilleliberty.com. If you'd like to come out and watch some championship caliber football with us, you're welcome to. Twitter next to wrap it up on the midweek edition of the Rob Brown Show. Rob Alonzo and you. This is the Fan Upstate. Why did Rob's Braveheart sound like the Terminator? Yeah, it kind of did. It kind of morphed at the end there. It wasn't great. I told you, my Scottish accent sucks. I wish I had a better one.
I think we all know that he's actually an agent of Skynet and is probably a synth.
Do what?
That was just, doing that thing that I do.
Every time you do that thing you do. Another great movie.
Never seen it.
The Wonders. Never seen it. My goodness.
I only watch things that are based on true stories.
And things that have hope,
Yes.
but only if Lonzo perceives.
I don't think that was a real band, so I couldn't watch it. Too busy watching old Monkeys episodes.
Hey, hey, we're the Monkeys. Never know where we'll
I thought to myself as a young children, watching the monkeys.
As a young children?
Yes, watching the monkeys reruns. If only I could someday be on a radio show that was exactly like the monkeys. That would be awesome. And now I'm on a couple of them.
I'm just out here making dreams come true.
My family is from Kentucky. I was raised with people with a Southern accent, and they hit me a lot, okay? So every once in a while, it just comes out. What can I do? Country Tourette's.
Country Tourette's.
You know what's sad is I read it, and I thought turrets. And I'm like, okay, what's a country turret?
Did you say it's mood taxi?
I don't know. Now I'm thinking about, installing country turrets on the compound.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's how you defend the compound. That's what a country turret is.
Country turret shoots out manure. Hard manure. It's going to hurt and it's going to stink. That barn over there is where we harden our manure for our ammunition.
No.
What sets us apart is that we're real, local general contractors offering homeowners lifetime solutions, and we value customer satisfaction over customer volume.
Call 864-581-3341. CNT Foundations, your foundation experts.
And paid for by the Victims Justice Group. Attention military personnel, families, and civilians who were stationed or worked at Camp Lejeune from 1953 to 1987.
Okay, in fairness, that is how you spell turrets and not Tourette's.
Okay, all right. So
you're now that I look at it.
okay, because I don't know how to spell Tourette's, but that's just so.
T-O-U-R.
Remember, a gamer here. So when I see turrets, I'm thinking, okay, I'm protecting the property with the turrets. And there's nothing like playing a video game, space age or regular, and then being able to get on something, yeah, and just take out the enemy and just laugh the whole time. All right, in the description for the podcast, that's the wrong hour. I was going to say.
Jim Bob
Oh, I'm putting Jim Bob Cooter in there, but I'm going to put it in all caps because it deserves it. But I forgot to do last hour, so I didn't forget to. We were doing a bunch of.
I just didn't want to.
We were doing a bunch of audio, so I couldn't do it at the same time.
Oh, that's true. Sorry, I didn't even remember not to open with audio.
That's fine. It's you know.
Warm with times of clouds and sun, high of 90.
Weather brought to you by OnePay. Don't buy plastic toys for your pet. Instead, look for natural materials like cotton, rope, wood, or bamboo. Join Odyssey, and together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow.
More than the scores. Real sports talk for real sports fans.
The Rob Brown Show.
All right, the Rob Brown Show steaming towards the end of the radio broadcast. Adam Schefter has heard you, Lonzo. He has heard you. Mike Florio put out a Pro Football Talk article. And it starts with, there's no denying Adam Schefter's success primarily when it comes to reporting on trade signings and other moves 5 minutes before those moves are announced to the world. He has positioned himself almost uniquely, with the exception of a couple folks who work directly for the NFL, to regularly get the consideration of the 5 minutes heads up before the announcement is made. As Miles Simmons has said on PFT, when he previously worked for an NFL team, he has been employed by before that by the Rams and Panthers. The digital crew would be told that, so as the announcement of certain moves, Schefter would break the news, and then the team would announce it basically 5 minutes later. Well, of course, during that moment, a couple of weeks ago, we found out that in the emails that were sent back and forth during the Dan Snyder investigation, turned out that old Adorn Schefter may have been occasionally handed not just some breaking news for the National Football League to be spread out to the world, Lonzo. He may have been told what to say and how to say it and potentially when to say it and
What's this May
why
stuff?
to say it.
May stuff. I mean, of course he was, and he does what he's told.
Schefter has basically become kind of the point man when it comes to staying on top of what's happening in the National Football League. And Schefter, after the news came out, Schefter basically has started to take crap from the rest of ESPN, like staffers and whatnot. He is now denying that he's ever carried water for the NFL. You bet that's coming back up tomorrow, right? You know that's coming back.
Yeah, I should have hit breaking news and then laughed. Yeah, like we didn't know that already. All right, time for Twitter Trending Tops, where I tell Rob what is trending. And the first thing that's trending is Daisy Dukes.
I don't know why Daisy Dukes are trending. I do know our producer, Hayden as Mario, the next bet that he loses on our nationally syndicated radio program, Bet for the Cycle, which airs on Saturdays from 1 to 5 Eastern. You can hear right here in Greenville on TPT HD3. If he loses another bet, he has to walk around the mall in Indianapolis in Daisy Dukes. So he better not. I don't know why it's trending, though.
I don't know why either, but it's Daisy Dukes. So, I mean, which are an amazing piece of apparel. And Daisy Duke was an amazing character.
Daisy Duke was fantastic.
Catherine Bach, who I believe was married to Ringo. I don't know if she still is, but she was married to Ringo at some point.
Great question. Yeah, Daisy Duke. Apparently, so there's a dentist from Michigan who's doing the whole like, they ain't never gonna take my guns in the back of his truck.
Yeah, I saw that. I thought that was a joke. So that's really why it's trending?
That's
okay.
why it's trending.
All right.
Yeah.
Dude,
he's out there.
Dude, stop.
Launching. Listen, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, I'm a gun owner. All right, Liberty of the Work Warrior. If you ever stand in the middle of your neighborhood and just start blasting shotgun shots into the air, they should take your guns, my guy.
That happens every 4th of July and on New Year's Eve. Everywhere. Happened in Ohio and happens here. So, I mean, yeah, it just does. All right, the next thing that's trending is National French Fry Day. I can't say, obviously, it's National French Fry Day.
Let me tell you where I'm at in my life right now. So we are going to the Dominican. Have I mentioned that yet? In about a month. And your boy, as I told Lonzo before the show started, I'm too much person right now, okay? I'm just too much person. So I'm trying to be less person. And as, the lady friend and I were like, look, we go to the Dominican in less than a month now, right? We can go a month eating and drinking healthy, right? So it's bottled waters. What did I have for breakfast, Lonzo?
A banana. I got some news for you. The Speedo still ain't going to work, Rob. No matter how much of a less of a person you are, please don't go Speedo.
Don't kill my dreams like that. Kill my dreams like that.
I always wanted a Speedo in the Dominican.
Listen, I'm very excited about the Dominican. I'm less excited about the fact that I don't want to have to wear 2X Hawaiian shirts. Hawaiian shirts are made for 1X dudes.
Here's the thing.
I don't want to have to rock
Just
another one.
make sure you're oiled up and everyone will think you're rich. So you're good. You're good. You're absolutely good. Why not? The last thing that's trending is Harrison Ford.
I want French fries.
Yeah, me too.
I want French fries. Harrison is he's not dead.
No, he's not.
Is it his birthday?
Yes.
Is it his 84th birthday?
He's not that old. He's only 80.
That was close.
He's 80 years young.
He hit the 80 mark.
He did.
He is an octogenarian. Texter says, what moves do you see the Braves making at the deadline? Texter, you come back tomorrow. I'm going to answer that. As a matter of fact, you come back tomorrow. I will talk about that because I got some thoughts. And we'll look for other great coaching names around the NFL, like
Jim Bob Cooter.
Damn right. Thanks for listening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed it half as much as Lonzo and I enjoy bringing it to you. Jim Rum's up next in the jungle. Then it's Mark, Ryan, and Diesel offsides after that. Have a lovely rest of your day. Don't drink and drive. I'll punch you in the face. See you back here tomorrow for the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Later, brother. Thanks, stream. You guys are awesome. See you tomorrow.